Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my dueling videos. Today I have for you a fun Destiny draw deck using Memory of an Adversary. This is one of the new ultra rare cards from the latest mini box, and it says, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you take damage equal to the attacking monster's attack, and if you do, banish that monster. During the end phase of your opponent's next turn, special summon that monster to your side of the field. So when I saw this, I immediately thought of Destiny draw decks, because not only do you get a monster off the board, you get to steal the monster. It takes a while for it to actually get to your field, which kind of sucks. It's slow in that sense, but the fact that you can, trigger your skill from it, I think is really strong, and that's what I wanted to do with this card. So we're running a Paleozoic engine. It's been a while since I used my Paleozoic, a full Paleo deck, and it was fun to try this thing out again. My Destiny to draw targets is going to be Wetlands, because it gives 1200 attack to all your Paleozoic monsters, so they become 2400 beaters, and that's great. We also have two Vision here, Witch Raider, in case I need to draw it with Destiny draw, but I still put two just so that I see it and I don't have to rely on my Destiny draw all the time to get to Witch Raider. Really easy to summon in this deck, obviously, because we're running 17 traps. And really strong. It'll clear your opponent's back row, and then you can try to go for game after that, depending on what the field and your hand looks like. So two of those, one Wetlands, two Memory of an Adversary. I only have two. Two was fine. I don't know if I would put a third one, because obviously if you take damage early in the game, it becomes a little hard to try to resolve this card, and if you have three of them, maybe by the time you draw into it, it'll just be a dead card. So I think two was a good ratio for me with this card. I threw in one Drowning Mirror Force because we don't have a lot of monsters outside our Paleozoics, so our field is gonna look empty a lot of the time, and having that Drowning Mirror Force can net you a lot of advantage if you send multiple monsters to the deck. Two Widespread Ruins, really strong card, especially devastating against things like Destiny heroes, because they can't just mass change out of it. They're still going to get their monsters destroyed, so really good card. We have two Paleozoic, actually I'm running two of these. Two Paleozoic Hallucigenia. It's an ultra rare, so it's kind of expensive in that sense, but you don't actually need this. I don't think I ever used the effect of the card. It was mostly fodder for my Paleozoic Pykaya, and to summon from the grave. So you can replace this with any of the other Paleozoic monsters if you don't have it. This card, target one face-up monster in the field, its attack and defense become half its current attack and defense until the end of this turn. So it's got a strong effect. It can help you protect your monsters, it can help you not take a ton of damage. That's why I threw it in there. 3 Paleozoic Canada. Self-explanatory. If you don't have 3 at this point, you're really missing out. This card just keeps getting better and better, and I think it's going to stick around for a long time. So we're running 3 of those. 1 Floodgate just to act as a 4th Canada kind of. 2 Wall of Disruption, defensive purposes, and to lower our monster's attack, because we cannot get over 2700, which is our Witch Raider. So Blue Eyes is going to be a struggle. That's why you need cards like Wall of Disruption and cards that will switch them into defense position. 3 Paleozoic Pykaya. I still am not 100% sure on the pronunciation for this. But this says discard 1 Paleozoic card, then draw 2 cards. So really strong to thin the deck and get your, not only get your Paleozoic monsters in the grave, but get some card advantage from that. That's why we're running 3 of, and then 1 Paleozoic Morella. I like this card because you don't need any. It can you can activate it at any time. So if you're desperate for a Paleozoic summon, you can just activate this to send 1 trap card from your deck to the graveyard, and then get something back that's already in your graveyard. Extra deck is just a bluff, and again their skill is going to be Destiny draw. So let's just go ahead and show you some of these replays. So here we're going up against Kaiba, and I think this was a Destiny Hero matchup, if I remember correctly.
Duel.
So we're going first. We're gonna keep Arcana and actually send that to the grave with Arcana. So we're gonna activate the Wall of D, go for the Arcana. I didn't want to summon anything because I didn't want him, you know, destroying a monster and getting another mass change. So here we're gonna go for the Widespread Ruins, get my Arcana back, destroy his Destiny Hero Drill Dart, and I pick up a Memory of Adversary, which is really good. Arcana is gonna net us a second monster on the board, and we get to draw 2. So now we can set more back row, and we're gonna see a Vision Hero Bion. So we can't get over that because he has 1200 defense. My opponent goes for the this is what I love about this card. He goes for the attack on my my Arcana. I take 400 damage, and now I can use Memory of an Adversary on this guy, Decider. I'm gonna take 1600 damage, and I'll get a monster on the board, and I'll activate my Destiny Draw all in one turn. We see the mass change, but that's fine because we have a Floodgate, and that's just gonna net me another monster on the board. Decider is gonna give him back Vision Hero Vion, and I'm gonna go ahead and Destiny Draw into my Wetlands. Now I have 3 24 beaters on the board, and that's enough to win me the game. I don't know what his back row was, but he couldn't really activate any of it. Easy win. Well, kind of, I guess. A lot of people were rage quitting to this deck, which I thought was kind of funny. Obviously, Jinso is just going to destroy this deck. You know, no question about it. So I was really hoping to not run into any Jinsos during the, you know, while I was playing this deck. Although, you know, you can Destiny Draw into your Witch Raider and hope to destroy the Jinso, but other than that, there's no out for him. Here we're going up against Spellbooks. And Spellbooks are, you're seeing Spellbooks a lot more now. I don't know exactly what made them come back. They've always been a good deck, but I don't know if the Wiz nerf is what's, you know, putting them back up the tier list. But I've been seeing a lot of Spellbooks. So it's gonna do the classic Spellbook shenanigans. We're gonna see the triple back row, and because I saw the 3 back row, I decided it's worth to just go for Witch Raider right here. The most he can do is put it in defense mode, since there was only 2 Spellbooks in the grave, and you know, I got to destroy all that back row, so it felt like it was worth it. But he's gonna do some more Spellbook shenanigans. And I have Memory of an Adversary, which I'm saving for a Silent Magician. That's the play that I was going for. So I was really hoping he wouldn't banish my back row, and he does not. And I think he feels safe when I didn't activate this, because he's gonna go for another Spellbook Magician Prophecy, and he has a chance to banish my Memory of an Adversary, but he goes for the new face down. And that comes super clutch for me, because now I can steal this Silent Magician when it attacks. I get my Destiny Draw off, and I just pick up a Arcana, and then my opponent scoops because he knows I'll be getting his Silent Magician, and I don't know, I guess he was too salty about it. But I'll take the win. Always nice being able to teal some Spellbooks. Okay, game. Hello? Game? Game? Can you please start? Thank you. Alright, we got a Paradox Brothers next, after that unusual delay. And this was, let's see, I don't remember this duel actually. Yeah, it is balanced. So this duel was very interesting because my opponent's kind of running a counter for this deck. He's running Elemental Hero Wildheart. And you know, we've seen this deck a lot. We're gonna see the Mage Power. I have to take this. There was nothing I could do. My traps don't affect the Wildheart. But this lets me get my Destiny Draw right away. And because of the extensive back row, I decided to go for Witch Raider. Get rid of all that back row. We're gonna see Super Rush. So I'm not gonna be able to destroy the Wildheart. But I got rid of the Mage Power. I got rid of his back row. I'm feeling pretty good about that. We see the Sergeant Electro and he targets my Hallucigenia, so I let that go. I'm really hoping my Canadia, I'm saving my Canadia for this Sergeant Electro, because if at any point I need my back row, I can just switch him into defense mode and I'll have access to my back row. But this was key here because the fact that he never hit my Canadia was key, because this makes him feel safe. Goes for the Econ take on the gets rid of Wildheart, which is the only thing that's immune to all my traps. Now that he does that and hits the battle phase, I can switch the Electro into defense mode, summon a Canadia to protect my life points, and we see another scoop. Easy win. Now we got an Arcana. Going up against a Power of Dark Arcana. I was really surprised, and this kind of sucks for me, Shaolin the Prophet, because he can lock one of my back rows. Luckily for me, he keeps speaking the Paikaya, so I can just chain to it. Decides not to attack. Picks up another Paikaya, so I'm just drawing. And doesn't go for the attack. I pick up a Vision Hero Witch Raider. Actually, I think I had that in my hand already. And now that he has a full back row, I decide it's time to destroy it all. Get max value out of my Witch Raider. We're gonna see the Treacherous Trap Hole, which is unfortunate. And I couldn't summon any Paleozoic monsters from the grave because of Vision Hero Witch Raider's effect. But I have plenty more back row to set. Once again, he picks a trap, Wall of Disruption. This is the time for me to steal his monster, take that damage, bring a monster on board, and go for the attack. Powerful Rebirth is gonna bring his Gravekeeper's Recruiter back. I get a Paleozoic monster. This was very puzzling for me. Oh no, never mind. I thought he didn't activate the effect, but I forgot. My monsters are immune to monster effects, so even though he tried to make their attack 0, he wasn't able to. I love Paleozoics because they have that. So even though I have plenty of back row to stop that Oracle, I decide to just take the damage so I can Destiny Draw into my Wetlands. Go for a third Paikaya just so I can bring another monster on board. And then we see the scoop. Gotta love that about Paleozoic monsters being immune to monster effects, because that comes clutch in this particular duel that you're about to see. We're going up against Duel, and I don't know how the duel would have turned out had he reached his Duel engine, but this became a Fire King Phoenix duel. So we're gonna go for the triple back row. I decided to steal the Fire King Yashka, take that damage. I can't activate my Destiny Draw yet, but I can, you know, cycle through my deck with Paikaya. Here we're gonna use another one just so I can summon a monster. It decides not to attack. I get my Fire King avatar during his end phase, but unfortunately he has the Treacherous Trap Hole, and that's kind of okay. I'm gonna get a monster off of it, and I have my Wetlands in hand. But because I see this Sacred Phoenix, I decide to wait on the Wetlands. I have Canadia to take care of that Phoenix, so I'm feeling pretty safe. We're gonna use one Canadia on this Fire King Yashka because I have a follow-up, and that way I have 2 monsters on board. Unfortunately though, I was not expecting a second Phoenix, so that changes things a little bit, but I'm still in a great spot, and you will see why. Phoenix is gonna destroy my back row. I'm gonna put the first Phoenix in face down defense position, and I get another monster, which is really important. He's gonna set a card. Whenever he summoned the first Phoenix, there was a slight delay on his end before I could activate my Canadia, and that let me know that he either had enemy controller or Forbidden Chalice. He sets the card, so I'm assuming it's enemy controller. Destroys my Pykaya. That puts me under my... I don't know if I could activate Destiny Draw beforehand. I don't think so, because I took 1200 damage. So now I can use my Destiny Draw, and we're gonna get our second target since we already have Wetlands in hand. Go for the Witch Raider. I assume this was the enemy controller, and he's gonna switch my Witch Raider into defense mode, but that's completely fine because I have a Wetlands, so I can get rid of both Sacred Phoenix. He tries to protect his monster with Sphere Kribo, but as I mentioned earlier, we don't care about Sphere Kribo because we are Paleozoics. So I destroy both his Phoenix, he draws, ends turn, and I win the game. Yeah, so you know, things would probably been different had he reached his Duel engine, but you can only duel what you have in front of you, so I beat that Phoenix deck. That's gonna be it for the replays though. This deck was really fun. I'm thinking about using it tonight for the Duel Room stream, but I feel like everyone's just gonna bring Jinso if I do. So we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description. Along my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. I really appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed this, and till next time.